Right, Shalom, giving all praise unto Yabashim, Shabashim, Hakodash. Double honors unto the apostles of great millstone, and honest you brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. This is going to be a video, a commentary on this video from the channel called Moving Home with Charlie. And pretty much this guy looks like he's an expert in the housing market. And he's going to break down the recent budget that was released here within the UK. I'm going to give you a little bit of background. And the background is, obviously you had the C19, and the C19 has led to crazy inflation throughout the four corners of the earth because they forced you to be at home and then they paid you to be at home. That was always the intention, because one of the great plans of the elite is to remove everything out of your ownership into the public domain, to have a government, centralized government, and a centralized monetary system, a one world monetary system. But in order to do that, you need to have a transfer of wealth, and it's befitting because the top comment that you see here, where's the comment? Here's the comment here from this particular individual: is this is not a mortgage bailout, it's preparation for a massive transfer of wealth. The government and the crony bankers will eventually own your house and we will be able to rent it back from them. Okay? If that is, we will behave. That is if we behave and score enough on the social credit system, the UBI, the CBDC. So people out here, they know everything that is everything that's coming up, and they got the statement which is going to be a part or the theme of this particular video, and it is that you will own nothing and you will be happy. And this is coming from the World Economic Forum. 50% of current mortgage holders will be renting the property inside the next 3 years. This is what's coming up. And inevitably, you're going to have a situation where renters are already in that particular situation. It's just going to be an upgraded system. They're already trialing the UBI, Universal Basic Income. I believe it's either in Wales or Scotland. Okay? So there's a great transfer of wealth that's happening. So I'm going to pause it at particular points, but I'm going to let the gentleman break this whole thing down. And this was buried within the budget. Nobody's mentioned it. But they're also preparing for what brothers have been speaking about for the longest time. Now, what we don't have sometimes is, or what the Most High doesn't necessarily reveal to us, is the details, right? The specific details as how something's going to break down or happen. We might not have that. So we told you that this housing market was going to collapse, but it wasn't revealed to us up until this point that they was going to have a means of so-called softening the blow. But really, it's not a softening of the blow. It's a gradualism towards owning nothing. Okay, let's check this video.
I'm going to have to retract my 35% house price fall prediction because I have just been made aware of something that has blown my mind. It's very late. I've got 3 sleeping children. Hence,
right. So what he said is what we've been predicting for the longest. It was going to crash the economy, and you was going to lose your house. Right. The specific details that we didn't have is exactly how they was going to go from a position of you owning something and not owning something. So here it is. You got the crazy interest, and you can see how everything is all interlinked and all intertwined to the same end goal. Right. Owning nothing. You owning nothing, you not having anything, and they're gonna buy it from you. Here it is. They're gonna say they're gonna buy it from you, or they're gonna give you a loan against your house, because he's gonna break it down in a second. They're gonna give you a loan against your house so that you can pay off your mortgage. So you got a loan for a loan, but the government stepping in there to for all intents and purposes to bail you out and the bank, but now they own your assets. It's clever. You gotta give it to this man. So the scripture says this man's wiser than Daniel.
Very quietly, and Anne-Marie's been out, she's not back yet. But I wanted to get this done published tonight because I think it's dynamite. I'll put a link under this video to the government's Autumn Statement November web accessible PDF, which is 70 pages long. And on page 54, at the very end of the work, welfare and pensions section, in paragraph 5.16, it says the following. Reforming support for mortgage interest. To support mortgage borrowers with rising interest rates, the government will allow those on universal credit to apply for a loan to help with interest repayments after 3 months instead of 9. The government will also abolish the zero earnings rule to allow claimants to continue receiving support while in work and on universal credit. This will come into effect in spring 2023.
So they're letting you know that it's being geared up for massive repossessions, and this is the soft mattress that's gonna stop you from losing your house. This is the support that they're gonna provide, and you're gonna think it's a great help, but it's not a great help. The damage to the economy is already done. Now it's the grand transfer of wealth. Okay, now it's the grand transfer of wealth. Let's watch a few more minutes of this guy.
Now, there's no more detail than that, and what this means will depend enormously on exactly how it is implemented. But it is, to a certain extent, a form of mortgage bailout, and indirectly a form of bank bailout, and it will have an impact on house prices in that it will soften the falls. But, there's a big but. If you, as a universal credit recipient, take out another loan, which will be secured on the property on which you've got a mortgage, what you're doing is you're loading up your already overvalued asset with yet more debt. And this is yet another instance of the government kicking the can down the road and finding a way to prop up the market, because this will massively reduce repossessions. It's very clever in that respect. It will massively reduce repossessions, but it is simply saving up a bigger problem for further down the road, and at which point you could see much bigger house price falls, but probably not for another 4 years from now. At some point, anyway, I don't know, it's too far out to predict it, but if this is what I think it is, then it will pretty much stop repossessions happening altogether, because if you can't afford to pay your mortgage interest, you can get, and you're unemployed, and you're universal credit, the government will either lend you money or will guarantee a loan from a bank that will lend you money that will be secured on your property to pay a mortgage. So great news for people who might have been going to lose their house while in negative equity or have their house repossessed. Fantastic news for those. And I think this probably means house price falls are probably going to be 15 to 20% now, not the 35% that I predicted, because this is a massive mattress underneath the property market that's going to support it. It's going to stop repossessions. It's going to stop people losing their homes, and it's going to prop up house prices continually, which is good news for some people, bad news for others. And ultimately, I think, and it depends on how this is implemented, it is the taxpayer guaranteeing loans on properties. Now, there's an awful lot of talk about the Great Reset and bank bail-ins and that kind of stuff, and there's definitely merit in more questions being asked on what this is going to do down the line. And I think the devil will be in the detail, but I think right now, what journalists need to be doing, journalists who have contacts in government, need to be saying, well, this is a bombshell buried in page 54 of a 70-page document. The very last paragraph in the welfare and pensions section is actually a mortgage bailout.
Yep.
I mean, that's what it is. Hey, if you can't afford to pay a mortgage, we'll lend you the money to pay it for you. And you won't have to be, you won't have to wait 9 months and you have to wait 3. No, why would they do that? It's because they know what's coming. So guys, I want to share that with you. I've linked the document under this video, or wherever you're watching this video, there's a link. And if you're watching this video where there isn't a link, then go to YouTube and look for this video.
There you go. The great transfer, man. The great transfer of wealth. So hopefully that's of edification. With that, I must say, all praise unto Yahbashim, Shabashim, Kodash, double honors unto the apostles of great millstone, and all the brothers that be pushing this truth in sincerity. Shalom.